We're now going to make a copy of that leg. So you're going to go over top of the leg, and then you're going to press Control D, again, duplicating the leg, and you're going to take that thing you duplicated and you're going to move it all the way so it aligns with the right side of the body. And as you can see, this does not look at all like your Among Us character. One of the things about making something like this is that it often looks less like the thing when you're halfway through than it does when you first start. So, one of the things I also asked you to remember when we were looking at the legs is that the right leg is shorter than the left leg. So, I've aligned the leg with the right side of the body. So now I'm going to align the leg with the other leg. Oops. There we go. So now the tops of these two legs are lined together. Oh, well, they don't look like they're aligned. So let's try that again. Yeah, let's do it that way. So you can see there's a line across the middle showing that these two are aligned together, and there's a line on the right side showing that this leg is aligned to the side of the body. So now you've got two identical legs, but again, the right leg is smaller than the left leg because it's further away, and so that makes it look like it's a 3D shape instead of just a flat one on a screen. So we're going to need to make the right leg shorter and thinner, but not by a lot, just a little bit. So we're going to actually start here. We're going to select these two again. Now, you may notice that it's very frustrating to constantly select two shapes at a time. So what I'm going to do to make my life easier is I'm going to select the two, then I'm going to right click on them, and I'm going to group them. And that means that anytime I click and drag, they're going to go together. I won't have to select them both at the same time. But you have to be careful because if you click on them and then click again and then drag, oops, it's like this, and then you try to drag one of them, you can mess up the shapes even when they're grouped. See, it still says that they're grouped, but I've separated them. So just be careful. There will be times when you will get frustrated. Just take a second, and if you really mess it up, hit Control Z until it's back where it started to go wrong. That's always the best thing you can do is Control Z. When things go wrong, Control Z. So now that you have your legs and it's grouped, you're going to click on the shape. You're going to click on that bottom blue square again, and you're going to bring it up and just a little bit. You don't want it to be very different. In fact, this difference that I just did here is probably too much. So I'm going to very slightly make it longer. That'll be good for now. I'm going to leave it as it is. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on the leg again, and this time I'm going to make it slightly skinnier. So I'm going to take this leg and I'm going to move it to the right just a little bit. We don't want it to be a huge difference, but we want it to be a noticeable one. And one thing you might notice is now there's this pretty big gap in between the legs. And I don't like that gap, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this leg and I'm going to make it slightly bigger. Oops, those aren't grouped. So you can see here I have that hole, and that's because those two shapes weren't grouped. So I'm going to select the two of them. I'm going to right click onto them, and then I'm going to group them. So just an overview, to group a shape, you're going to select two shapes you want. You're going to right click on them, and you're going to click on the button that says, or the option that says group. Sometimes it might be hidden, so you'll have to scroll. So these are now grouped. We're going to make it a little bit bigger, but just a tiny bit because we don't want it to be too different. These two legs look a little bit different, so I'm going to actually make this one a little bit bigger again. And this is one of those things you kind of just have to use your own judgment and look at them and kind of just base it off of that. So they're looking okay to me right now. Yeah, not terrible. So I'm going to leave them as they